Microwave meals feel like the modern shortcut everyone can lean on. A quick beep, a puff of steam, and dinner is served. But for older Americans juggling blood pressure meds, kidney strain, or simply trying to stretch a fixed income, that convenience can carry hidden costs. What looks like a plate of comfort often hides a chemistry lesson. Shocking sodium levels that can max out your daily allowance in one sitting, packaging in that warps under high heat, and uneven heating that leaves cold pockets where dangerous bacteria survive. Think about it. The FDA sets the daily sodium limit at 2,300 milligrams, and most cardiologists urge seniors to keep closer to 1,500. Additives designed to stretch shelf life often leave greasy puddles, strange aftertastes, or worse, stress on your kidneys. Tonight, we're pulling back the film on 7 microwave meals that promise comfort but deliver risk. And because not every frozen dinner is a villain, we'll end with 2 safe picks that actually pass the test for both taste and health. So grab your seat, because what's hiding under that plastic film may shock you. Let's start with the first one to avoid. Avoid number 7, Stouffer's lasagna, tradition in a tray, sodium in disguise. For someone exhausted at the end of the day, it feels like a safe shortcut to home cooking. But peel back the film and the illusion cracks fast. What you actually get is a sodium bomb that sneaks past your guard in a single sitting. Let's talk numbers. One serving of Stouffer's lasagna clocks in around 1,500 milligrams of sodium. That's 2/3 of the entire daily allowance for an average adult, and for seniors advised to stay closer to 1,500 milligrams per day, it nearly maxes you out in one tray. Add a cup of soup or a quick snack later, and you've already overshot. High sodium means fluid retention, spiking blood pressure, and extra strain on kidneys that may already be under pressure from medication. And sodium isn't the only problem. Microwaves heat unevenly, and dense dishes like lasagna are the worst offenders. The edges bubble while the center remains lukewarm, a perfect hiding place for bacteria if the core never reaches safe temperatures. Seniors with weakened immune systems don't just risk an upset stomach. They risk infections that can mean hospitalization. Then come the additives. To hold sauce and cheese together through months in the freezer, chemical stabilizers and emulsifiers are added. That greasy film you see on top? It's not just fat, it's processed ingredients breaking down under heat. No wonder longtime fans say the flavor has shifted over the years, from hearty comfort to salty sponge. The fix doesn't mean abandoning lasagna. Many supermarkets now sell fresh prepped versions in the deli case with clear sodium labels. Or take 10 minutes to layer whole grain noodles, spinach, and low sodium tomato sauce at home. Same comfort, fewer chemicals, and control over your salt. Because when a so-called classic leaves you bloated, thirsty, and worried about your blood pressure, it's not really comfort food at all. And if you think a tray of lasagna is too salty, wait until you see how much heavier this fake light Alfredo is. Avoid number 6, Lean Cuisine Chickens Alfredo. Lean on the box, heavy on your heart. The name whispers safety. Lean suggests light, guilt-free comfort. And at first glance, the glossy noodles and neat chicken cubes under that creamy white sauce look like a smart choice. The steam rising from the tray smells like an Italian trattoria, buttery and rich. But dig deeper, and the shine fades fast. Here's the reality check. A single tray of Lean Cuisine Chicken Alfredo typically lands in the 700 to 900 milligram sodium range. That's nearly half of what seniors should aim for in an entire day. Eat 2 because the portion feels small, and you're suddenly circling 1,800 milligrams before dessert. Pair it with a side or a salty snack, and you're way over the safe zone. Sodium spikes blood pressure, forces your heart to pump harder, and leaves ankles swollen and joints stiff. And sodium isn't the only trick hiding in this light dinner. To make the sauce look plush, food scientists lean on thickeners and starches instead of real cream. It feels silky for a minute, then leaves a slick coating in your mouth with a faint chemical tang. That aftertaste isn't Parmesan, it's processing. Even the packaging can backfire. Microwaving in flimsy plastic trays risks leaching microparticles into the very sauce you are eating. You can't see them, but your kidneys feel the load. Add to that the classic microwave problem. Edges scalding hot while the center remains cool, and you've got a dish that's both uneven and unsafe. So what's the alternative? Toss whole grain pasta with shredded rotisserie chicken, a spoon of Greek yogurt, a splash of low-sodium broth, and real Parmesan. 10 minutes, real food, less salt, and none of the mystery thickeners. Because if a meal labeled lean leaves you bloated, flushed, and worried about your next doctor's visit, then lean is nothing more than marketing spin. But even if a lean meal might fool you, those dressed as organic are no safer. Avoid number 5, Amy's frozen burritos, the organic halo that fails the test. The word organic feels like a safety net. For many seniors, seeing that green label means trust. No artificial ingredients, no hidden chemicals, a wholesome choice. Pull one of Amy's frozen burritos from the box, and the warm tortilla smell promises something safe and natural. But the truth? Organic doesn't mean bacteria-free, and it doesn't mean balanced. These burritos have faced recall notices in past years tied to improper sealing. That might sound like a technical slip, but it can open the door to pathogens such as E. coli. For someone over 60, an infection like that isn't just a rough night. It can mean days in the hospital, IV drips, and antibiotics. Cold spots inside the burrito make the danger worse. Bite into one, and you might find rubbery edges, but a soggy, lukewarm core. That uneven heating gives bacteria the perfect hiding place. And then there's sodium again. Depending on the variety, a single burrito can sneak in 600–800 milligrams of sodium, close to half a day's allowance for a heart patient. Multiply that by 2 burritos, and the halo fades quickly. Texture tells the story too. The tortilla can split, leaking mushy filling, while the promised cheesy center sometimes stays clumped and cold. That isn't clean eating, it's factory shortcuts under a health-conscious label. The fix is simple: skip the frozen aisle. Many delis now sell fresh-made burritos daily with clear labeling and better texture. Or build your own with a whole grain tortilla, beans, lean chicken, and crisp veggies. In 10 minutes, you'll have real flavor, safely heated in an oven or skillet, not a microwave gamble. Because when the label promises purity, but the bite delivers cold mush and hidden risk. Organic is just another marketing costume. And if a burrito wrapped in green branding can betray your trust, imagine what happens when nostalgia itself turns into a health trap. Avoid number 4, Hot Pockets pepperoni. Nostalgia wrapped in a chemical grenade. For many, the smell of a Hot Pocket pulls you straight back to teenage years or late-night college snacks. Gooey cheese, salty pepperoni, and that handheld convenience you didn't even need a plate for. But what felt harmless when you were young can turn into a hidden health trap for older bodies already carrying the weight of high blood pressure or kidney strain. The problem starts with the infamous lava pocket. Microwave one of these and the outside scorches your lips while the center stays icy. That's more than annoying, it's unsafe. Cold cores mean bacteria can survive even after the timer beeps. Inspectors have long warned that dense fillings in microwave snacks don't always reach food-safe temperatures. For seniors, that uneven heat can translate to infections that no one should risk. Now let's talk sodium. One pepperoni Hot Pocket can pack 1,200 milligrams of sodium, nearly an entire day's limit for someone on a low-sodium plan. Eat 2, and you've already outpaced what your doctor recommends before dinner is even served. Add in preservatives like BHA and BHT, often flagged for potential kidney stress, and you're not biting into nostalgia. You're swallowing a chemistry experiment, and the packaging doesn't help. Many customers report flimsy sleeves that warp or leak under heat. The result? A faint chemical aftertaste that has nothing to do with pepperoni. Seniors juggling meds don't need microplastics or additives making their kidneys work overtime. If you still crave that handheld comfort, try a safer swap. Use a toaster oven to reheat leftovers evenly, or make your own wrap with whole grain pita, lean turkey, low-fat cheese, and fresh veggies. Same grab-and-go feel, but without the sodium overload or uneven heating risk. Because when the memory of comfort ends with a burnt lip, a queasy stomach, and blood pressure climbing, it's not really comfort food. It's a warning in disguise. And if a pocket-sized snack can carry this much risk, just wait until you see what happens when factory shortcuts meet so-called hearty dinners. Avoid number 3. Banquet meatlemos dinner. Hearty on the box, harmful in reality. The packaging promises a thick slice of meatloaf smothered in brown gravy, a hearty meal that looks like Sunday dinner without the effort. But peel back the film, and what you find is closer to a rubbery brick floating in salty sauce than a comforting classic. For seniors hoping for nourishment, this tray often delivers disappointment and danger. Factory reports have flagged banquet facilities for safety lapses, from rushed inspections to meat slipping through the line undercooked. That means bacteria like Salmonella or Listeria could hitch a ride from the factory freezer to your microwave. And once you nuke it, the microwave's uneven heating creates a cruel double risk. Scorched edges on the outside while the center remains lukewarm, still harboring pathogens. Nutrition doesn't redeem it either. A single banquet meatloaf dinner can serve up 1,200 milligrams of sodium or more, nearly 80% of what many cardiologists advise seniors to consume in an entire day. Add in saturated fat from the dense, low-grade beef and the chemical preservatives that keep it shelf-stable, and you're left with a perfect storm of blood pressure spikes, kidney strain, and cholesterol creep. Consumers often describe the texture as chewing on a tire dipped in gravy, more rubber than meat. The gravy itself sometimes carries a stale odor, masking spoilage you can't see but your body can definitely feel. If you crave meatloaf, skip the freezer aisle. Ground lean turkey or beef with oats and fresh vegetables can become a homemade loaf in under an hour, or you can pick up a freshly prepared version from a deli where the quality is clear. You'll get real flavor, fewer preservatives, and control over the salt. Because when a meal marketed as hearty leaves you bloated, anxious about your blood pressure, and unsure if the meat was ever fully cooked, that comfort quickly curdles into concern. And if Banquet's so-called classic feels risky, the next oversized value meal takes danger to a whole new scale. Avoid number 2, Hungry Man turkey and gravy. Supersized portions, supersized risks. At first glance, the Hungry Man turkey and gravy dinner looks like a deal. Turkey slices, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and a pool of brown gravy, all neatly packaged in a giant tray that feels like Thanksgiving on demand. For anyone shopping on a budget, that sheer size looks like value. But in reality, what you're buying is a health gamble served extra large. Start with the sodium. A single Hungry Man turkey dinner can reach 2,300 to 2,500 milligrams of sodium in one sitting. That's not just a heavy hit, it's the full daily limit or more in a single tray. For seniors with heart disease or kidney strain, cardiologists recommend aiming closer to 1,500 milligrams a day. One meal wipes that out, leaving your blood pressure and kidneys straining to keep up. The portion size doubles the damage. More turkey means more preservatives, more gravy means more hidden sugar, and oversized servings disguise themselves as generosity when they're really just loading you with risk. Inspectors have even cited mold growth in warehouses where these trays are stored for months. Damp conditions plus poor temperature control make frozen far from a guarantee of safe. For seniors with weaker immune systems, that can mean serious infections if bacteria survives the journey from factory to plate. And then there's the eating experience. The turkey often turns out dry and rubbery, the potatoes gummy, the stuffing like a salty sponge. What smells like holiday dinner tastes more like freezer burn mixed with chemicals. One customer compared the metallic aftertaste to licking a coin. That's not value, that's a warning sign. A safer swap? Roast a lean turkey breast at home, thicken gravy with low sodium broth, and keep the portions sensible. You'll cut sodium in half, preserve flavor, and avoid the gamble of a moldy science project in a plastic tray. Because when Hungry Man leaves you with swollen ankles, spiking blood pressure, and food that tastes more like a lab test than a family meal, the only thing supersized is the risk. And if supersized danger wasn't enough, the so-called natural label on our next meal proves that even comforting mac and cheese can hide its dirtiest tricks. Avoid number 1, Evol mac and cheese. The natural comfort that isn't few foods scream comfort like macaroni and cheese. Golden noodles, gooey sauce, that warm cheesy aroma filling the kitchen, it feels like the safest pick of all. Evol even markets its frozen mac as natural and wholesome. But peel back the film, and you'll see how quickly that promise falls apart. Start with sodium. One tray can deliver 1,000 milligrams or more, nearly an entire day's safe allowance for seniors managing blood pressure. Add a salty snack or soup later, and you're over the limit without even realizing it. That sodium drives up blood pressure, forces your heart to pump harder, and makes your kidneys filter overtime. For anyone already on medication, it's a recipe for swelling, dizziness, and extra strain. The texture doesn't help. Instead of creamy comfort, many customers report clumpy, glue-like cheese that leaves a gummy coating on the tongue. Microwaving unevenly only makes it worse. Some bites scorching hot, others lukewarm and rubbery, leaving cold pockets where bacteria can linger. Inspectors have repeatedly warned that dense pasta dishes are some of the hardest foods to heat safely in a microwave. And then there's the branding betrayal. That word natural is meant to reassure, but preservatives and stabilizers still hold the sauce together. Consumer watchdogs have flagged evil for inconsistent quality, with complaints of metallic aftertaste and off-putting bitterness. Natural on the label doesn't mean safe in the tray. So what's the better path? Make a quick stovetop version. Boil whole grain pasta, stir in low-sodium broth, real cheese, and a handful of steamed broccoli or spinach. You'll get actual creaminess, more nutrition, and none of the chemical tang. Or look for fresh deli versions where sodium is clearly labeled. Because when a so-called natural mac and cheese leaves you bloated, worried about your blood pressure, and tasting more chemicals than comfort, it's not really dinner. It's a marketing trick. But not every frozen meal is out to get you. Two brands actually prove convenience can be safe, flavorful, and worth keeping in your freezer. Safe pick number 1, Saffron Road, Indian-style meals. Flavor without the fallout. Finally, a frozen option that doesn't stab you in the back. Open a tray of Saffron Road, and the first thing you notice isn't a stale freezer stench, but the vibrant aroma of spices. Cumin, coriander, turmeric. The colors are rich, the sauce is glossy, in a way that looks alive rather than clumpy. For once, frozen food actually resembles real food. Here's the key difference. Sodium levels average under 600 milligrams per serving, less than half of what the bad actors we've covered dump in. Compare that to a Hungry Man tray hitting 2,300 milligrams, and you see why cardiologists smile at this brand. For seniors advised to keep daily intake around 1,500 milligrams, this is a meal that fits rather than blows the budget. The ingredients are equally reassuring. Chickpeas, lentils, vegetables, chicken raised without antibiotics. These are basics you recognize, not a chemistry set. Many of the seasonings, like turmeric and garlic, carry natural anti-inflammatory benefits. That's a far cry from additives like BHA or MSG cousins. The sensory test passes too. The rice stays fluffy instead of clumpy. The sauces coat evenly instead of separating into greasy puddles, and the aroma lingers like you actually cook something fresh. It's comfort that nourishes instead of undermines. For anyone on a fixed income, these meals also hit the sweet spot of affordability without medical backfire. Stock a few in the freezer, and you've got convenience that doesn't wreck tomorrow's blood pressure reading. Add a side of steamed veggies or a salad, and you've stretched the portion into a balanced dinner. Because frozen doesn't have to mean fake. Saffron Road proves you can heat, eat, and still keep your health in check. And if an Indian-inspired meal can get frozen right, the next pick shows that even American-style bowls can be safe, colorful, and surprisingly wholesome. Safe pick number 2, Healthy Choice Power Bowls. Real food, real balance. Pop the lid on a Healthy Choice Power Bowl, and the difference is immediate. Instead of a gray slab or gummy pasta, you see bright greens, orange carrots, nutty grains, and lean proteins that actually look like food. The aroma backs it up. Roasted vegetables and seasoned chicken, not a chemical tang from preservatives. It feels closer to a home-cooked meal than anything we've covered so far. The biggest win? Sodium levels usually stay under 600 milligrams per serving. That's less than half the load of a Hot Pocket or banquet dinner, and light years safer than the 2,300 milligram bomb hiding in a Hungry Man tray. For seniors juggling blood pressure meds, that means you can finish a full portion without your doctor glaring at your next checkup. These bowls also bring balance. Whole grains keep digestion steady, Fiber-rich veggies support blood sugar, and lean proteins keep you satisfied without bogging down your heart. Because they skip heavy preservatives, they're gentler on kidneys that already work overtime. And unlike so many frozen dinners, consistency isn't a gamble. Inspections confirm these bowls meet food safety standards without the recall drama. The sensory test seals the deal. The veggies still have a bite, the grains taste nutty, and the sauces coat evenly instead of pooling into oily corners. What you see on the box is actually close to what lands on your plate, and that alone is a rare win in the frozen aisle. For those on fixed incomes or tight schedules, a freezer stocked with power bowls is a safety net that doesn't come with hidden medical bills. Pair one with a side salad, and you've got a meal that respects your health and your wallet, because convenience shouldn't mean compromise. These bowls prove frozen can be fast, filling, and safe, all in one bite. Microwave meals promise ease, rip, heat, and eat. But as we've seen, too many of them deliver bloating, blood pressure spikes, and even food safety scares instead of comfort. Stouffer's lasagna drowns you in salt. Lean cuisine hides chemistry under a lean label. And Hungry Man tricks you with size while loading your system with sodium and preservatives. For seniors already managing meds, that's not dinner, it's playing roulette with your health. But there's hope in the freezer aisle. Brands like Saffron Road and Healthy Choice show that frozen food can actually deliver on flavor and safety without sending your blood pressure soaring. Meals with sodium under 600 milligrams, built with whole grains and real vegetables, give you the convenience you want without sabotaging tomorrow's doctor visit. So here's the bottom line. Don't just trust the box. Read the sodium numbers. Check the serving size. Let your meal rest so heat spreads evenly. And whenever you can, choose brands that respect your health instead of gambling with it. Your body and your budget will thank you. Now it's your turn. Have you ever microwaved a comfort meal that looked fine on the outside but left you bloated, queasy, or worse? Drop your story in the comments. We want to hear the worst frozen dinner betrayals. And if this breakdown helped you see the freezer aisle differently, hit like, share this with a friend, and subscribe so you don't miss the next food warning that could protect your family. Because in the end, frozen food doesn't have to be fake food. The real comfort comes when taste, safety, and health finally share the same plate.